Hey guys, welcome back to some more reviews. I'm Horrorboy425, aka Nate Murphy, the Explorer of Horror. Welcome back to some more reviews. And today, doing something a little bit different from the Wrong Turn franchise. I will be reviewing Wrong Turn 5 a little bit later. I have to watch it again because I really don't remember too much from Wrong Turn 5. I have to watch it again later. But I will be doing the review for Wrong Turn 5 a little bit later. I might even review Wrong Turn 6. I'm not even sure. But it is the weekend, so sometime this weekend I'll review Wrong Turn 6. It might even be later on tonight. I'm not sure. But today, start off today with a little bit of a different video, and it's a video that I was really glad to be tagged in. And it is the 2016 Halloween Tag Q&A. I was tagged by Surround Sound Freak 13. And basically, what this is he was tagged by somebody, or actually, I think he's seen the video and then he decided to make a response. And then you tag somebody else, and I was tagged in the video, and I thought it was a really, really cool idea because October, like many horror fans, is one of my favorite times of the year. I love October. I love getting classic films lined up to watch during October. Such a great time, and especially if you're a horror fan. I mean, horror movie discounts. I go horror movie shopping all the time in October. The decorations, the atmosphere. I love October. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays of the year. I love Halloween. The atmosphere and how fun it is during Halloween. But this is a Halloween. This is the 2016 Halloween Tag Q&A response, and I will be tagging 2 or 3 people at the end of the video to do a response to this. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to be answering 8 questions here, and for those wondering, this isn't the official Horrorboy425 Q&A. That will be in, I'm not sure if in October, maybe even after October. I'll do the Horrorboy425 Q&A number 2. And what I'll do is Monday I'll ask you guys, I'll make a video and have you guys ask questions, and you guys can ask as many questions as you want when I do that video. And then I'll wait till Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever, and then I'll do another Q&A response, and it will be the response video and me answering you guys' questions. So that will be a couple months from now. The actual Horrorboy425 Q&A number 2 I'll be doing that after October. But this is a 2016 Halloween Tag Q&A, so I can't wait to get started, and I can't wait. I love October. I love the holiday Halloween. So anyways, guys, let's get started with question number 1. Name one decoration that reminds you of your childhood. Now, growing up, it was the skeletons. I mean, growing up during Halloween, you would always have those classic plastic skeletons. I remember that and spider webs were always the ones that I used to get in spiders, and I'd put the spider webs all over the skeletons and, make it look pretty cool. And it never really costed that much. And I really like how, they have like the miniature skeletons, they have like skeleton hands, stuff like that. And I could go deck out my yard in skeleton bones, stuff like that. And it really wouldn't cost that much. And, the ones with like, a decay looking hand that was chopped off, it's like all painted up, stuff like that. Those cost a little bit more. But, getting those bag of bones for like $3 or $4, at the dollar store, getting, those cheap, plastic skeletons hanging up in your yard. I remember those being always something that I really enjoyed about Halloween, is seeing the skeletons and stuff hanging up. I mean, it's just really cool. Really, really cool decoration. I think it's, for me, I would say the pumpkin is probably the most symbolic thing about Halloween, but, I mean, it's pretty much the symbol of Halloween, the jack-o'-lantern. But I feel like skeletons also, as well as witches and, monsters and ghouls and stuff like that. But really enjoy for decorating my yard when I was a kid. I remember getting a lot of skeletons. They were very cheap, and I used to buy them for like I said, $2 or $3 or something, $2 or $3 or something like that at the dollar store, and decking my yard out in skeleton bones and like fake skeletons and hanging them from trees and stuff like that. That's a very fun part of October, is also decorating the yard and stuff like that. But yeah, I would say that my favorite Halloween decoration that reminds me of my childhood was the fake plastic skeletons, because I used to get those a lot. I put them all over my yard, and it was very cheap to get, so I didn't really spend a lot of money on it. And you could deck out your whole yard of bones for under $10, literally. And that was probably the thing I remember about Halloween the most, getting those cheap, plastic bones at the dollar store, and getting those cheap plastic skeletons and just scatter the bones all over the yard. So I love that. Question 2, what is the scariest thing that's ever happened to you? Now this would have to be, I don't know, that's kind of a hard question to think about. Because as far as, I don't know, paranormal experiences, I really haven't had any. Although there is one I have to mention. It didn't really scare me. It just sort of surprised me, and I was like, holy crap. Because I would say this is probably the most scariest thing, because this is probably the only paranormal thing that's happened to me. But it didn't really like scare me, like frighten me, and make me run out of the room. It kind of like made me go, "Oh crap!" Did you guys just see that? But I remember I was sitting in the kitchen, but it did kind of freak me out though, because it was just like, "Holy crap!" But I remember sitting in the kitchen on the floor, just hanging out on the floor. For me, sitting in the chairs. I like sitting in chairs, but I always like to sit on the floor, and it's something I like to do, like sitting on the floor and stuff like that. But I remember I was in the kitchen hanging out with my grandma and my mom, I believe, and I was sitting over here just hanging out, talking and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, I see a chair in the back of the kitchen. It moved, and nobody else seen it because my grandma was looking this way, my mom was looking the opposite way as well. I mean, they're talking to each other. They're actually busy in a conversation, so my grandma was looking this way. My mom was busy talking to she was busy talking to my grandma, and they didn't see the chair move. And when they was talking, I looked over and I noticed that the chair had moved back a little bit. So I mean that was pretty scary, but I kind of just jumped up and was like, "Hey, did you guys just see that? Holy crap! I just seen the chair move by itself." And it's no bull crap either. I'm not making the story up. It really happened. I was sitting on the ground. My mom, I think it was my mom, and my grandma were talking. It was either my grandma and my great grandma, or it was my grandma and my mom. I can't remember. But I do remember I was sitting on the ground, and there was a chair right here, and I remember it moving, and and the table didn't touch it. Nobody kicked it with their feet. It moved by itself. And it moved so subtly too. It was just like right there, and it just subtly moved back. It didn't make a loud noise. It just sort of like just barely scooted back. It was very creepy. So I would say it creeped me out, but it didn't like absolutely frighten me. I really can't think of a time where anything paranormal really frightened me. That was like the only paranormal experience I've ever had in my life. But it was definitely scary. Thought it was pretty creepy, but also was kind of excited because I just seen a freaking ghost. I just seen some paranormal activity, so I was kind of like, oh crap. Me being a horror film fan, I was like, holy crap. I couldn't believe it. I was in shock, and then I was like, holy crap, I couldn't believe I just seen that. So yeah. Question number 3: what is the Halloween tradition that you have and or one that you would like to start? Now, for me, I remember during Halloween, I know that the Halloween tradition that we have during Halloween is usually it's trick or treat, but we also cook a lot of food and dinner and pumpkin pie, which you would think is for Thanksgiving, but also I remember my grandparents always fixed a lot of pumpkin pie during Halloween as well, because it is during the fall. But pumpkin pie, chicken, hamburgers, chili. Chili is a big food that we always have during Halloween. So something like chili, pumpkin pie, soda and pop and stuff like that. And that's about it. That's a tradition that we always have. Is we always go over and have pumpkin pie, chili, and sometimes they'll cook chicken and mashed potatoes, and a lot of food and stuff like that. So that's a tradition that we always have. Is we always go over to my grandparents' house, and they have a big feast set up for us. They have a big dinner set up for us, and we go over there and we eat chili, and sometimes it'll be chicken and mashed potatoes, and sometimes it'll be pumpkin pie, and so that's about the tradition that we have. Just going over to my grandparents' house and, having a good dinner, a good Halloween dinner. So number 4 is name your favorite movies for each category. Vampire, werewolf, witch, paranormal, ghost, demonic, possession, slasher. Now, for vampire, I would have to say I recently seen Nosferatu, and I really enjoyed it for being how old the film was, and just watching it, I thought it was really good. Although the version I watched, it wasn't the original silent film version, which I will see eventually. It was the version with sound. It's like a YouTube edit. The guy has the movie and he put sound in it, and it was really well done. And it really, I was just seeing if that would, because I would want to see if it was, having the sound of the movie was, pretty good or not. And it was. I mean, it had, acting and stuff like that, and all of the moments where you read the screen of what they're saying, that's gone, and it has dialogue in there. So I watched that. It was pretty much the non-silent version of not Nosferatu, but I still watch Nosferatu. I'll definitely check out the actual silent version. But I did see Nosferatu. I wouldn't say Nosferatu is my favorite, but I would say that it's definitely one of my favorites because I actually really enjoyed Nosferatu. I thought it was really good. My favorite vampire flick, I'm not sure. There's a lot of them I enjoy. I enjoy The Lost Boys, From Dusk Till Dawn, Fright Night. Um, Believe it or not, I haven't seen Dracula yet, the original Dracula. I have seen Dracula 2000, and I really enjoy that movie as well. But my favorite one, I would have to say, it's a very tough decision because it's either between the Lost Boys or Fright Night because I really enjoyed Fright Night. I loved Fright Night. Maybe it's a hard decision, but I would say maybe Fright Night's my favorite vampire flick because I have a lot of fun with Fright Night. Not the remake, the original film. I haven't even seen the remake yet. I own the sequel to the remake. But the original Fright Night is my favorite vampire film. I have so much fun with that flick. Such a fun film. Really enjoy it. So yeah, my favorite vampire flick is Fright Night. Werewolf flick would have to be American Werewolf in London. I absolutely love the movie. I think it's a great movie. It has great characters. Has really, really funny dialogue. Did the whole horror comedy before horror comedy became a big part of horror because when that movie was being made, people were asking, the director John Landis, is it serious or are you going for a comedy? You can't do both. The movie, people were saying that it couldn't be a horror film and a comedy. So I really enjoyed that aspect. It is a horror film, but yet it is a comedy as well. It's a horror comedy. Really enjoy it. I think that the movie has spectacular, special effects. It has really good gore. Not really gore, but I mean it has pretty gory moments. I think it has some pretty good gory moments. You have good acting, likable characters. It's a good movie. I really enjoy American Werewolf in London. So my favorite werewolf film is American Werewolf in London. As far as witch movies go, I haven't really seen a lot of witch movies. I would have to say that probably the movie The Witch, which, but I'd say it's probably my favorite one because I remember seeing The Witch in theaters, and The Witch is one of those movies where it's very slow burn, and I feel like if you watch The Witch, if you're not patient enough with it, it does seem very slow. But the film, it does take a while to get things going. It does take a while to, get to things. But the characters, you really got behind the family. You felt really sorry for this family. They're struggling. It's not typical. I like the folktale aspect of it, and how it feels like a folktale. The dialogue kind of got annoying, because the way that it was delivered, and I mean, I get it was a different time, but I don't know, the dialogue, the fact that it was all spoken in this, language a long time ago. It's like still English, but they speak it, and it's from like the 1700s, 18. I can't remember when it took place. But the way they talked, I got annoyed by the dialogue, but that's about it. I mean, the dialogue kind of annoyed me, but that's about it. I love all the other aspects of the film. I love the folktale aspect. I love the atmosphere. I love the setting in the woods. I love the fact that this family sort of falls apart through the whole film, and you care about this family. You want them to live. You want them to survive, and they all just slowly fall apart. And you notice that animals are part of the witches, or the goat ends up being, I think, the devil. And people are getting possessed. The kids are getting possessed. Really enjoyed the movie. I do have two problems though. Like I said, I did get annoyed by the dialogue because I do get it. It was a different time, but the dialogue kind of annoyed me. As well as the ending, it was just all that happens is the lead girl strips down naked, goes out in the woods, and levitates in the movie end. She finds witches out in the woods, then levitates, and that's the end of the movie. I don't know if it was supposed to be one of those symbolic endings. Like, I don't know if she became the witch. I don't know. But I think it was a symbolic ending, but I didn't really get it that much. And it was one of those endings where you could have had her get the axe, go in the woods, fight the witch. Can you imagine that? Her getting the axe and her whole family's been killed by this witch. And she goes into the woods and fights this witch with an axe and knives and stuff. And the lead fighting this witch and, trying to kill her because, what happened to her family and, getting revenge. That'd be cool, but it doesn't happen. But all that happens is she goes out in the woods naked and just levitates, and the movie ends. I mean, stupid ending. So the dialogue got annoying and had a stupid ending, but for overall, I really enjoyed The Witch. It's my favorite witch movie. I haven't seen a lot of witch movies, but it's my favorite witch movie. Paranormal films. I would have to say, I don't know. Probably, if I would have to pick my favorite paranormal flick, I want to say Poltergeist. Maybe Poltergeist. Yeah, Poltergeist. Really enjoy Poltergeist. My favorite ghost flick. Paranormal and Ghost, kind of the same, but I don't know. Maybe Conjuring 2. Really enjoyed Conjuring 2. Thought it was way better than the first movie. So probably my favorite ghost movie, or I flip flop it. My favorite paranormal movie is The Conjuring 2, and my favorite ghost movie is Poltergeist. Or I don't know. Either way you flip it around, that's how it is. I would say for sure that paranormal would be The Conjuring 2, and Ghost would be Poltergeist. Because I really enjoy both. I really enjoy both of those movies. Demonic. Possession, I would have to say, or actually, the last category was Paranormal Ghost. I actually read it wrong. I do apologize for that, but it is Paranormal Ghost. My favorite Paranormal Ghost movie. Would have to say Poltergeist. Between that and Conjuring 2, I like Poltergeist more. Demonic Possession would have to be The Exorcist. Well, The Exorcist. Slasher flick is my favorite horror film of all time, The Texas Massacre, the original. I love that film. Name one place you would like to travel to for Halloween. I would like to travel to during Halloween. There's a lot of haunted cemeteries where I live, and I would love to go and visit some of these haunted cemeteries and see what goes on in the cemetery and see if there's any paranormal activity, catch some ghosts. So I really like to do that. I like to travel to some of the cemeteries and the haunted cemeteries around here, and visit the cemeteries and explore some of the cemeteries. What is the scariest? Next question is, what is the scariest book you've ever read? The scariest book, the one that I thought that really caught me off guard, and the one that really I thought was a little bit, not even a little bit, I would say better than the movie, is the Carrie novel. It's very disturbing when I was reading it. It was even more disturbing than the movie, because in the book you're hearing the details about how Carrie is being not only tortured at her house, but tortured by these people at school. And I feel like in the book it was much more scarier. It was much more creepier. You learn much more backstory than you did in the movie. And it was just a very, very. It was when I was reading the Carrie novel, I thought it was much darker than the movie. It had, Carrie being beat up a lot by her mom, getting tortured by the kids at her school. So I'd say the scariest book I've ever read would have to be the Carrie novel. I thought it was pretty creepy. And if you guys haven't read the Carrie novel yet, definitely go check out the Carrie novel. It's really good. So I really enjoyed the Carrie movie, but the book was just freaking amazing. But next question is, do you go to haunted houses? If so, what is your favorite? I love to go to haunted houses. My favorite one, and Surround Sound Freak 13 might know this, the Haunted Hoochie. I went to it last year. and I was freaking nervous and scared. I was scared as crap, but I went there, and it was a really crazy atmosphere. And that's probably my favorite haunted house. I've been into a couple. I've been into a place called the Haunted Cave. I've been into a place called, I think it was the Terror Fest or whatever. It's basically a quick walkthrough. It doesn't really last that long. My favorite, without a doubt, is the Haunted Hoochie. I walked through it, and it was crazy. It was scary. It was off the wall, and so yeah, I have to say that my favorite haunted house is the Haunted Hoochie, which is, I believe, the most scariest. It was voted the scariest haunted house in America. So it's a very crazy time, and I remember being so scared just walking up to it and waiting in the line, and waiting that long wait to get in there, and then boom, it just kicks in, and it's crazy. But it was really scary. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely want to go back again this year. So yeah, my favorite haunted house is the Haunted Hoochie. And I love to go to haunted house during October. It's one of my favorite things to do in October is to go to like these, haunted scare houses and stuff like that, and go there and get scared and have a good time. But the Haunted Hoochie is my favorite haunted house to go to during Halloween. And I definitely want to go to it again this October. Number 8, question 8, and the last question is, what would your perfect Halloween look like? For me, the perfect Halloween is when it has that precise amount of not only the great fall season, the leaves fall on the ground, the temperature, everything feels perfect. Now, in those Octobers and during Halloween, when it starts raining and, storm clouds start forming, lightning and thunder, those get kind of, bad because you really can't go trick-or-treating in the rain unless you want to get soaking wet. And sometimes it'll even be kind of cold outside and you're soaking wet walking around trying to get, some, candy for trick-or-treat. But those are probably the worst ones. The best Halloween for me is when there's no rain, it's the right temperature, it's the right look, it's the right mood. Everybody's having a good time, everybody's having fun, walking around with your friends, talking, hanging out, watching AMC Fear Fest. I love AMC Fear Fest during October. Hanging out with family when you get home trick or treating, and I don't really trick or treat anymore. But I like hanging back at the house, and when everybody else trick or treating, I like hanging back and just hanging out with my family and watching horror movies and just chilling and talking and hanging out with my family. And it's something go hang out with my friends as well. And it's just that's the perfect Halloween is when when the temperature's right, the weather's right, the atmosphere is perfect. You have a lot of houses up for trick or treat. You have those houses with actually like little walkthroughs to their garage and stuff like that, where you walk in and there's like jump scares, everything. I love that. When you go out with friends and family and have fun, absolute fun, and that's probably the best Halloween for me is when the right weather, the right mood, that great fall feel, where the weather's great and the leaves are falling on the ground and the temperature is just perfect, and hanging out, walking around your neighborhood with your friends, walking around and hanging out and saying hi to people and stuff like that, and seeing some really cool costumes made, and just seeing some really cool things, really cool yards that are decorated, some really cool garage haunted house walkthroughs. Those are pretty cool. And I also love staying back at my house and scaring the crap out of people. Although I do hope that I will be able to use a chainless chainsaw and scare the crap out of people. But that's another thing I love is staying back at the house, because I don't really trick or treat anymore. But I did trick or treat last year, but I didn't trick or treat the year before that. But I did trick or treat last year. I don't think I'm gonna go trick or treating this year. I think I'm getting a little too old for that, a little bit too old for that. But staying back at the house and scaring the crap out of people is such a fun time. Like I said, I want to get one of those chainless chainsaws and just scare the crap out of people. It's fun. For me, the perfect Halloween is when everybody is enjoying themselves, the perfect atmosphere, the perfect feel. Like I said, going over to my grandparents' house and having the Halloween, dinner, and and going over and watching horror movies and having a big old pile of horror movies lined up and watching them and staying up all night watching horror movies. Hanging out with family and friends. That's the perfect Halloween for me. Is when the weather's great, everybody's having fun, scaring the crap out of people. Seeing the cool, different decorated yards and the cool garage sort of mini haunted houses that are pretty cool. So yeah, that's the perfect Halloween for me. So anyways, guys, this is that was pretty much all the questions, and now I will tag 3 people or 2 people. I don't know if it was 2 or 3, but I think I'm just going to tag 3 people in this. Arnar Horror Hunter, aka Red Band Cash Channel. If you see this video, I'd like you to do a tag. I'd like you to do a response to this video. I like to tag Grim Reaper. If you see this video, man, I would like to see response from your channel as well. And the last pick I would have to say is Mr. Unspeakable. I would vote those 3 to I'm sorry if I didn't tag anybody else. Kind of just only picked a couple people today. But I tagged those 3: Mr. Unspeakable, Red Bend Cash Channel, aka Arnar Horror Hunter, and also Grim Reaper. And if you guys see the questions, I will, show you guys the questions, and you guys can do the response video. But yeah, those are 3 people I tagged in this video. I want to say thank you to Surround Sound Freak 13 for tagging me in the 2016 Halloween tag Q&A. Thanks a lot, man. And if you guys want to, I'll leave a link in the description below to the video and also to his channel. If you guys want to go see his video. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.